This meeting is being conducted in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice of this meeting has been provided by advertisement in the Cape May Star and Wave and has been posted on the bulletin board of Township Hall.
I'm getting there. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Conrad.
Here.
Councilmember Neville.
Here.
Councilmember Douglas.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Clark.
Here.
Mayor Beck.
Here. Okay. Before we move down to the work session, we have a couple items on the presentation to Jackson Soul and Jackson Von Savage. Jackson, I think you're missing your compadre, is that correct? He's sick?
Yes.
Okay, well then you're going to have to face the music on your own. Would you stand up and step forward?
Sure.
So we can read a little bit about you. Myself and Deputy Mayor Norris Clark, we had and Councilman Neville, we had the honor of attending your Eagle Scout Court of Honor last Saturday. It was one of the nicest ones I've ever been to. I'm going to be honest about that. It was huge, the turnout. Let me read just a little bit about your project, and this will bring up memories for some people here. For his Eagle Scout project, Jackson led a crew in planting a vineyard located at the St. John Newman Parish on Town Bank Road in North Cape May. The vines that have been planted are the same type of grape that the church uses for the Eucharistic wine. After the grapes have matured, they will be pressed and made into the Eucharistic wine, which will be offered during St. John's communion masses. Jackson has dedicated this vineyard to the memory of his father, Gene Soul, former Scoutmaster of Troop 73, devout Catholic and community beacon. Beacon would be an understatement. Anyway, to continue a little bit, you're a senior at Lower Cape May Regional High School, correct?
Yes.
And you have a 3.85 GPA, is that correct? Tim?
Sounds about right.
National Honor Society?
Yes.
And you want to be mayor, right?
I don't know if I'd be able
All
to.
right, you got it. You're an 11 varsity letter winner in football, wrestling, right, and lacrosse. You're a busy man. You have won various awards, National Football Association of South Jersey Scholar Athletes Award, team captain of wrestling and lacrosse, both junior and senior years, and football captain during the senior year. In 2012, Jackson was awarded the Union League of Philadelphia Good Citizenship Award. He's selected as delegate to the 2012 American Legion New Jersey Boys State Summer Program. And you want to continue your education to pursue a college degree in agribusiness, is that correct?
That's correct, at Virginia Tech.
Well, you're doing everything by the book, and you're doing it well. And I can't tell you how proud we are of you. You want to tell us a little more about some of the things? How about scouting? How long were you actively involved in scouts?
Both Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts, consumably 12 years.
12 years?
Yes.
I mean, what else do you do here? I mean, you just lay around and do nothing?
I try when I get on. It's hard.
Is there any time left? Sometime maybe after midnight that you have time to hang out with other people or something like that?
I don't see daylight as much.
You don't see daylight.
Yeah.
You say your greatest gift that you've received from scouting has been the friendships that have developed over the years.
Yeah, it's true.
They are his life friends. Well, you've done well. And I'm going to come down there. You guys got anything to say? Anything would you like to add on here before we go down and give him his award?
congratulations. I know how hard it is, and I wish my son had followed your steps, but he left scouting.
Yeah, like I told you, you're Court of Honor. Tigers, Wolves, and Bears were some pretty good years. I always knew you were going to be an Eagle.
That's right, you were his scoutmaster, right? Or
Leader.
the scout leader. And in case people don't know, you're an Eagle Scout yourself, correct?
That's correct.
Very good. Glenn?
Congratulations. I've watched you grow over the years, and you've really grown into a quite a great little young man there. And good luck at Virginia Tech, because I've been down there quite a few times. It's a nice place.
Say the same thing, Jackson. You heard a lot of good advice and suggestions, and you set a great example at the Court of Honor, and just wish you the best. Thank you.
It says here that scouting has taught me discipline and dedication. It's pretty obvious. Well, congratulations to you. We already gave you that huge plaque, right? We've had to like chip in to get and stuff. But I'll read out your. Well, we'll go down. Come on, counsel. We'll go down and shake his hand.
I want to thank you guys for, being a huge advocate of Boy Scouts and supporting us in everything we do. It's great for a town that supports such an organization like that.
The little time that we have put into it pales in comparison to what the scout leaders and your folks and all the people who molded you into what you are today. But there's a lot of lessons there, which is that it takes a lot of time. This doesn't happen overnight, and the amount of time a parent puts in to their lad or their daughter, you get it back many times over. Let me read what was on the plaque that you probably put on the shelf somewhere with the other plaques, right? It says, excuse me, I need these guys. Whereas Jackson chose as his Eagle Scout project to beautify St. John Newman's Church by planting Takaba grapes parallel to the back right of the parish complex. Whereas the vines that have been planted are the same type of grape that the church uses at communion and Catholic Mass, and once mature will be used for making the wine at St. John Newman's Church. And whereas Jackson's project was dedicated to the memory of his father, Gene Soul, a former Scoutmaster of Troop 73, devout Catholic and community beacon. Now, therefore, is with great pride and honor that I, Mayor Michael Beck, and the Lower Township Council do hereby recognize and congratulate Jackson on his accomplishments and wish him continued success in all his future endeavors. We are truly proud of you.
And I'm sure my comrade Jack would say the same thing.
Jack's probably still sleeping.
Yeah, probably.
We'll catch up with him.
All right.
Where's the clicker? There it is. I found it. Don't panic, Julie. Okay. Then we have the click it or ticket, which we have to read. Mobilization, it's a proclamation of May 20 to June 2nd, whereas there were 591 motor vehicle fatalities in New Jersey in 2012. A large percentage of the motor vehicle occupants killed in traffic crashes were not wearing a seatbelt. Whereas a further increase in seatbelt usage in New Jersey will save lives on our highways. Therefore, be it resolved that Lower Township declares its support for the click it or ticket seatbelt mobilization both locally and nationally from May 20 to June 2nd, 2013, and pledges to increase awareness of the mobilization and the benefits of seatbelt use. Signed and sealed this 8th day of March 2013. Okay, and now we have a presentation from the Cape May County Dog Obedience Training Club. Ladies, would you care to file up here and tell us all about your efforts? And the gentleman too.
He said he's going to record it for posterity.
Yes, he can do that. Oh, he's a recorder, okay. And you were cordially invited in here, and I think this cage has something to do with your efforts here?
Yes, it does. Right after Superstorm Sandy, we heard that large dogs were told that they couldn't come to the shelter, or they were turned away from the shelter because the crates in the pet emergency shelter were all very small. Well, we didn't like that, and Christmas was coming up. In lieu of a Pollyanna, we do member donations, and then the club matched the donation. So we ended up with $500, and we said, well, we'll go to see Bob Smeltzer and see if we can order the crates from him. And we thought we'd have maybe 3 or 4 crates to donate to CERT and the shelter. When I left Smeltzer's a couple of weeks ago, it was more like, I think we're going to have about 8 crates. I can give you a really good price on those. So now I'm not sure how many crates we are donating, and I'd like Bob to come up.
Please do.
Tim?
Hi, Bob.
Good evening.
Good evening.
The Dog Obedience Training Club is obviously a friend of our store, and we appreciate everything that they do. And obviously, we have a great working relationship with the Township of Lower. So what we agreed to do was to sell them the crates at below our cost. And then I felt we should maybe go a step further. So what we have decided to do, which they're not aware of just yet, but they will be momentarily, we've decided our business to match what they did. So we're going to donate another $500, and they'll end up with over $1,000 worth of crates for the Township of Lower to be used for your emergency preparedness for the pets. This doesn't represent their contribution. This was just symbolic of the type of crates that will be given. And so you're going to end up with over $1,000 worth of crates for wherever we want them. And also, I know through talking with Mr. Montgomery on the last storm, it took a long time to put the crates together of the type that were available to them.
Right.
These, once they're out of the box, they just open themselves. They're like automatic. They spring into position, and each crate will take about 10 or 15 seconds to install. So we're happy to be a small part of it. Thanks for the great idea of the Dog Obedience Training Club, and then we're just tagging along and just matching the grant of $500. So thanks for the opportunity to do it with you.
Thank you. Hold on a second here. Don Montgomery, you want to step up here? And maybe we can get a photo with everybody in there. You could accept it on behalf of the township. I know we certainly appreciate this. Your generosity is just superb. And as far as the issue with the large dogs and stuff, this will solve a problem we've had. So we're really grateful. Don, do you have anything that you want to add to that as far as?
Thank you very much, everybody, for all you've done. And come in great use. Thank you very much.
Council?
I'll coordinate with my son Tim, who's here, who hopefully will allow me to retire soon, maybe tomorrow. And he'll coordinate with Mr. Montgomery to allow, and the Dog Obedience Training Club to allow for the delivery at the location of your choice. But it'll probably end up being over 20 crates of various sizes.
That's fantastic. You know, we appreciate this, certainly.
Our pleasure.
It comes as a surprise, I'll be honest with you. We didn't realize this was coming at us, but we are very, very grateful. I mean, there's when we have these storms, and it seems like we're having them more and more frequently, and it is an issue. I mean, we've kind of inherited, it seems like, Don, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know that Irene, we had the dogs under the inside the airport in the hangar.
109.
Yeah, how many did you have?
109.
109. Now, what did we have last year for Sandy? Do you remember?
I believe 33.
Okay, because there was a lot of arrangements made, I think, in advance with that. But
It was because of the size of the crates. We couldn't take a lot because of the sizes.
right.
Dogs that were coming in too large for the crate.
But we've ended up with a lot of people coming from other towns to drop their animals off here, and we're concerned about those little guys too. So we want to take care of them. Council?
I want to thank the dog obedience.
Big guys, all right.
Club, who, I know some of the members, I've seen them around. And Mr. Smeltzer, you're always here for the community. You've done a great job, thank you all, because this is definitely a need that we have in this township.
And the dogs don't get a chance to speak, but the dogs and the dog owners, thank you very much.
My dogs did get the opportunity to go through and they enjoyed it, so, and they're very obedient to today. So, and Mr. Smelter, again, thank you and this group for bringing this opportunity to the township. I think it will help us in the next, hopefully we won't have any more storms, but like the mayor said, they're coming more often than less.
Mhm.
Thanks so much for stepping in to fill this need. That's just the beginning of citizenship. When you see a need and step in, fill the gap. And my wife and all the other cat owners are going to want to know what's the program for the cats.
Well, the existing crates can fit lots of cats.
Okay, yeah, okay. And there's no truth to the rumor we're keeping one here for council meetings. For people who speak over 5 minutes. I don't know who that might be.
Maybe you.
Okay, thank you very much. Godspeed. Okay, move down. Okay, well, we have one issue, the work session. We were going to have Margaret Vitelli here, the qualified purchasing agent, but that will have to be postponed. It's a situation where she had a family emergency and notified us this morning. So I guarantee that she'll be here at the next available council meeting, that she's also available, and she'll do her presentation on contracts and local contractors. Okay, so we move down to the consent agenda. Council comments on the consent agenda. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, ladies. Yeah, at the 2013-91, we're passing a resolution which opposes the Senate creating an early voting system. And we might as well take a quick look at that. And this is a bill that I understand they're looking at today. This would dramatically increase retraining of poll workers, hours, chain of custody requirements. These bills will require for each primary and general election a public facility located in each municipality in an area of high concentration of population to be open and available to registered voters starting 15 days before an election for early polling, possibly conflicting with, if not pushing out, other important uses for these buildings cause an inconvenience to residents. Now, we could, first of all, we've talked with the Julie, the clerk, and what it basically, correct me now, for 15 days we'd have to have like town hall opened up, and you would have the availability of people to come in prior to the election to vote. And there's a lot that we would have to do. It would be very costly. Okay, to begin with, you'd have poll workers here for 15 days. You'd have security problems that would be epic. What do you do with these machines? Even at night, you have to post a card, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm not sure that's the way. I appreciate the fact that you want people to vote. And I started tinkering around with this thing, and the best I can see is for Lower Township in 2008, we had about 7.65% that used mail-in voting. In 2012, that had risen to 10.1%. So I think, to begin with, as we move into the electronic age, and this is going to cost a lot of money. We have it's estimated the first year that it'll cost the state $20 million. 11 the second, and then 7 million each year afterwards. Maybe they should look at a system that would enable you to vote online. Something that is totally secure, that you're able to register and go in that direction. I'm not sure. Like I said, to enhance the mail-in voting, and maybe they need to go in an opposite way. And so when you register somebody to vote, maybe you should automatically register them as a mail-in voter and only have them come to the polls if they request it, and start doing it in the opposite way. Just the thought. But that being said, to create a bureaucracy like this and an expenditure that would take $20 million out of the budget for the state, of course, and we get reimbursed, but it's still our tax money. And then to spend 15 days with this building open, I'm not sure that's a good thing. And, council comments?
I think it's a horrible idea because it will cost the taxpayers of this township. We don't need any more charges. I mean, it's almost enough they'll reimburse some of the costs, but let's face it, they're not going to reimburse all of them. And we've been tightening our belts. They're the ones telling us, tighten the belts more. Now they're going to put the load on there.
Yeah, it's an unfunded mandate for us. I mean, parts of it are, some of it is not.
Yeah, I mean, and also the 15 days, 6 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock at night, it's like, it's too much. There's vote by mail options.
Okay. Glenn?
I think there's a lot with security, a lot with a lot of ifs with this, and I just don't think it's an excellent idea, and I believe that's why we're pushing for a resolution to oppose it. And hopefully that's what other towns are looking at also, to oppose it.
I agree.
Okay. All right, then we'll put that forward. Is there any other comments on the consent agenda? Okay, we'll open it up to public comments on the consent agenda. Yes, sir.
Jack Sparks with Cape May.
Yes.
I have a totally different slant on this on what you do, Mayor.
Okay, go ahead.
First of all, there are recently 32 states that have adopted this policy.
Early voting.
That's correct.
Okay.
15 days before, and it closes 2 days before the actual vote, so it's 13 days. It's not 6 o'clock in the morning. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. That's what papers that I have, anybody wants to have them. It's totally endorsed by Jeff Van Drew and the assemblyman from this area, the senators that were involved here. The genesis of this latest was Hurricane Sandy, of course, and where people didn't get a chance to vote. Today or tomorrow will be the first day that you are able to find an accurate total of the votes cast in New Jersey this past election. And it's because of polling places being washed away and things like that. I've studied this for ever since I saw it on your agenda. And it doesn't cost you anything directly, as you say, from the township. There is a cost from the state. However, these people during the storms, these senators and assemblymen, were there in the middle of this stuff. They just didn't go out. They're just not going out and saying, well, let's spend the state's money and put this thing in on a lark. They've done this with a lot of thinking and a lot of seeing people that were not able to vote. And it wasn't even contested, and in some places they had voting with, you voted online, and it was a mass confusion, and this will stop all that. None of those 32 states and Washington, D.C. have rescinded this. The rest of the country's not on a binge to save money. Every one of these places are trying to save money, but they think the right of the vote is much more important for that amount of money than what I think we're maybe headed towards here. Not only think that you shouldn't have gone this anti-business so fast, but I think it should be the opposite way. I think you should endorse it rather than going against it or stand neutral in it. I mean, I take it from Senator Van Drew, he knows an awful lot about this stuff, and that's his job. And he has the backing of most people in this town, at least that's what the elections show. And he comes down, to get a bit personal, he comes down and swears a couple of you in. A couple months later, they're making a resolution that questions his ability to do the job for the whole state, not just for Lower Township.
I don't know about that one, Jack.
Well, you certainly can disagree with anything
I will.
that I say. That's, I'm not
Well, that-
asking you to agree with anything.
It's not a question of us
I mean,
questioning his ability to govern, I don't do that.
I think he does a pretty good job on these issues, and I think you should support him rather than put out a resolution saying that he's dead wrong. And that's the way I feel. I have which I can show you after the meeting, I have a map of the U.S. with all these states that are involved. It's not political in any way, shape, or form. There's red states and blue states that have chosen to go this route. And it's all under the guise of being able to vote. Here's a, for instance, suppose, and this happens, I'm not pulling stuff out of the hat. Suppose a member of your family gets sick, and 5 days before the election, you have to go there. I mean, it's a family matter, and it takes away your right to vote. You can't vote absentee, they shut the door at a certain time, the door is shut, you can't vote. And I just think that's wrong. People look at the forecast. We always are very concerned on election day of what the weather is. I mean, in any campaign, it's the talk of the campaign at one time or another that, well, I hope the weather's good or I hope the weather's bad. Well, this eliminates it for an awful lot of people. They can go to the polls and vote. As far as the machines go, I've read 3 articles here, and it's not going to be done by machines. It's going to be done by paper ballot. They wouldn't be bringing in the machines. And as far as the help is concerned, they said, and these articles point out, and the senators point out in their presentation, that it won't, the polling place in this town will only be one. It'll be at the township, at the clerk's office. And she can either have it here or have it next door. It's open during the day. I don't see where there's any large problem with that, especially when it comes down for a person their right to vote. I mean, I've been involved with you a long time, and open government is one of your hallmarks of being here. And this resolution, I don't think that's open government. I think that's closed government. I think it tends to keep people away from the polls. I don't think there's any question if you have it. I mean, the facts will bear me out, as pointed out here, I can show them to you, that you'll have more people voting. It's just a fact, and it's not an opinion of people in New Jersey. That's a fact nationwide. Well, it might be 3% or 4%. Well, that might not be a big number, but pretty big to the person that's voting number one. And there's a hell of a lot more elections been won by less than 3% than there have been a bigger number. That's for sure. The more people you have to vote, the more democracy works. You know that. I don't have to tell you that. Preaching to the choir on that. The more people that vote, the better off you are. And I think if you open it up, as many, many states have done, it's just not New Jersey. It's 32 other states with much success, or they would have done away with it. Just as interested in spending taxpayers' money as what you are here. So I would ask you to reconsider it and study a little bit further. Maybe talk with Andrew a little bit about it, and Albano and what the other congressman's name. You know, talk to them. They've been working on this for a time, and they're not looking to do something that's going to cause the township problems. You know, they're looking to help the situation rather than hurt it. So I would think you would hold off on passing this and take a look at it and maybe, you know, readdress it soon, because it has to be done soon. I don't know whether it's too late tonight, but I would at least I would do is not pass it on this amount of time. It's an awful short amount of time. Township's had 3 or 4 days, you know, to see it. The vast majority of people have not seen it. It's on the agenda Thursday, and that's it. I think it's an important matter not to go down that road, I think. I only suggest that you hold that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Rizzo.
Me, Robert Rizzo, Mickles Run. I would ask that you consider Mr. Sparks' statement. I think he makes a very valid statement. Why don't you table it and give the public a chance to think about it and look at it? He makes a very, very important statement, and I don't think it's going to be the expense that we think it might be. Thank you.
Okay. First of all, we've had this since the beginning of March, and maybe even before that. I have at least an email up here since then. Second of all, the stance in opposition is supported by the League of Municipalities, which is one of the requesting authorities that's sent here. Third, I have the utmost respect for Senator Van Drew. This has nothing to do with whether I have respect for him or not. It has simply to do with, I feel personally, that it's the best stance for the township, period. It's not a question of trying to limit people's voting. I personally feel the future of voting is probably through the internet. Probably a combination of the internet and mail-in voting for those people who do not have the access to the internet. I see not only the financial end of this, but I also see the prospect of having 15 days, and especially, or at least 13 days, as this, and also a sense of a security issue with the whole process. And I'm where I'm at. Council, comments? Anybody else wish to comment on this or any other item on the consent agenda? Close the public portion.
Approval of minutes from March 4th, 2013. Resolution number 2013-87 through 2013-97. Ordinance 2013-07. An ordinance establishing a single source separation and recycling policy for the Township of Lower. This ordinance sets forth the rules and regulations for single source recycling. This is the first reading of this ordinance. The second reading and public hearing is scheduled for April 1st. And ordinance 2013-08, an ordinance amending chapter 432 of the mercantile license of the Township of Lower. This ordinance allows for a $75 late fee per unit. This is also the first reading of this ordinance. The second reading and public hearing is scheduled for April 1st.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve in a second?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Neville?
Yes.
Councilmember Douglas?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Beck?
Yes. Move down to resolution 2013-98.
This is the bid acceptance and contract award for maintenance of the township grounds and parks. This is the second year option which awards this contract to Douglas Landscaping. Sorry.
Okay, do I have any council comments on this issue? Do I have any public comments on this resolution? Close the public portion. Do I have a motion to approve in a second?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Councilmember Conrad.
Yes.
Councilmember Neville.
Yes.
Councilmember Douglas.
Abstain.
Deputy Mayor Clark.
Yes.
Mayor Beck.
Yes.
Resolution 2013-99. This is a resolution authorizing the payment of vouchers. It's for K&G Marine. It's the final payment of $57,259.09.
Do I have any council comments on this question? This ties in with the change order. I think it's 2013-92. Okay, and that's where we actually went down $4,000. So do I have any council comments besides that on this? Public comments on this issue? Close the public portion. Do I have a motion to approve in a second?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Councilmember Conrad.
Yes.
Councilmember Neville.
Yes.
Councilmember Douglas.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Clark.
Yes.
Mayor Beck.
Yes. Move down to administrative reports. Council comments. Councilman Conrad?
I'd like to thank St. Raymond's. This Sunday they collected for the local food banks. They got an incredible amount of food. It should help for a while. There are still needy people out there, and I would like to thank all the people that attend St. Raymond's that did give. If you go down North Cape May from Rotary Canal Park, Rotary Park, down by the ferry, you'll see some boxes at every jetty. It was another Eagle Scout project. Local Villas boy has hopefully completed all the requirements, and we'll be having another presentation, but he's trying to recycle fishing line. They cleaned the jetties, and it's a very good thing. And then April 1st, just a reminder, this is the last meeting before April 1st. We are going to single stream recycling, one container. It should be a lot easier for all the residents.
Well, I want to wish everybody a happy Easter a little early, and at the next meeting I'm going to be on vacation, so I can only hope it's as nice as where you're at is where I'm going to be.
I just want to bring up one thing to council about our Recreation Advisory Board. There's been an idea brought forth about adding 3 student members to the advisory board. They'd be non-voting, but they would also be students that would be able to assist with the recreation, give a youth aspect of what we need in our town. And I think it was a great idea brought forth, and I'd like to see us add them 3 to our existing Recreation Advisory Board, if council would agree.
Is that okay?
You guys want to deal with
Yeah.
I guess we should probably do a vote on that.
Or a work session, then come forward, or just bring it up next time. I know, you know how government works.
I'm learning. Okay, we'll schedule it for the, the only one that I've talked with would be the Debbie Johnson, just to make sure there's no issues, but I think it's a crackerjack idea.
Mayor, on the consent agenda this week, you saw the $40,000 appropriation for the fireworks display, and this brings up the whole area of recreation for our township and the great things that the recreation department is doing for our citizens. And we've been meeting with them and looking for ways to raise funds to undergird and underwrite what the recreation department is doing, including the fireworks. And so we've come up with a program that I want to preview with you today. This is a program to give public recognition to sponsors who would be considered Friends of Lower Township. And the Friends of Lower Township would be formed to underwrite and donate for all of our recreation programs, especially the fireworks. Our target would be $30,000 to raise. And what we've got here is a really interesting set of programs for the township. You've got 2 concerts in July. One is the Backstreets, the Bruce Springsteen Tribute Band, and then on July 24th you have the Sensational Soul Cruisers. These are 2 well-attended concerts with over 3,000 people attending. Of course, you have the Independence celebrations and festivities on July 3rd, We usually have over 10,000 people attending at that event. This year we're having a triathlon, which you've heard about, which is promising to bring 1,000 contestants and over 4,000 people watching this. And then not to mention the summer program, the music programs at the Fishing Creek School, the Douglas Coombs Bayfront Run, which brings over 1,000 people. All of these are recreation programs that this township has. They bring great numbers of people into Lower Township. And we want to give the friends, those people who become friends of Lower Township, to underwrite a recreation program. We want to thank them very publicly and promote their businesses throughout our township as a way of saying thank you for their support. And I'm going to, for anyone that's interested, I have made copies of what all this means. But we've basically set up 3 levels of support. A gold level at $2,500, a silver level at $1,500, and a bronze level at $500. And this is quite a change from what's been done in the past. Instead of going out and asking businesses to give us money for the fireworks, and we say thank you for the fireworks one time, when you see this program, it is a year-round promotion of the businesses and saying thank you for those that are being friends. For example, we're going to offer to the gold level sponsors an automated robocall. As we announce the fireworks to all the residents of the township, we're going to say thank you to the business. We're going to look to insert into our tax bill a recognition of the businesses that support us at this level. Not to mention press releases, all the praise we can lavish at the council meetings. We're going to get up at the concerts in front of all of these audiences and say thank you. And it goes on down the line to including 2, I think we're branding special colored polo township shirts for those who give at certain levels. So we have thought of every way we can recognize and show appreciation for people that get behind this. And I really believe it's going to be well accepted because we're basically giving value in exchange for these donations, real marketing and promotion value that I think businesses will see as a benefit to them. And I tested it out already this afternoon with Geisis Market, and John Lauterbach immediately said, yes, I'll take the gold level and be your first gold sponsor for this program. So he didn't even skip a beat, thought it was of value for his business to have this recognition. Of course, he's a good citizen on top of that, and that was part of it. So that's the preview. If anyone's interested, I have copies of what this all means in detail. And then secondly, last council meeting, we brought to the attention of everyone that TripAdvisor was, and all the readers and the network of TripAdvisor had recognized Sunset Beach in Lower Township as the one of the top 25 beaches in America, the only one in New Jersey. This was the huge audience of TripAdvisor voting in on this, and they recognized Sunset Beach. I believe it has a lot to do not only with the sunsets and the sand, but also the fact that they recognize our veterans consistently. Since they've been doing it, over 6,000 flag raisings and lowerings on behalf of veterans. But all of that together has resulted in this recognition that we have for Sunset Beach. The problem was TripAdvisor said it was Cape May. And we wrote them a letter, I said, and by the way, it is really Lower Township. We want the world to know how much good stuff is in Lower Township. And I'm happy to say TripAdvisor, if you go on their site, has changed the designation to say Sunset Beach, Lower Township. So, yeah.
Well done, well done. Good job. Where's John Lauterbach? Is he here? Maybe
He's expressly said that if he, if I was going to mention he was doing this, he wouldn't come. So he's done.
I was going to say he could do like a 30-second commercial for.
That was exactly what he was trying to avoid.
Okay, I'll let him go this time. There's a couple, and you know what? That's what we need to do. It's good that you reached out to them and got them to change that. I mean, we get second place in a lot of ways, in a lot of different things down here, but we got to stand up for what's right, and that certainly is one of those issues.
Can I say one more thing?
Go ahead.
Well, you had asked me to mention this. We did go together up to Governor Christie's team has been very has reached out to us and has asked if there's anything they can do to help in any way, shape, or form. So we took them up on that and took a trip to Trenton, and we met with the Commissioner of the Department of Environmental Protection, the DEP, which is, you know, a matter of great concern to our residents on many levels. And the mayor brought up the issue of our concern we have about the beaches and about the erosion that we have. And I can't steal his thunder, but I think we can say that, you know, besides listening very carefully and being someone who actually has a home in not Lower Township, but in Cape May County, the DEP Commissioner, Bob Martin, listened with thirsty ear and was very interested in our concerns, and then basically previewed the fact that they have some major plans they're looking to announce very soon that would involve a major beach replenishment, not only along the entire coast of New Jersey, but on up around the bay. Over $1 billion as a result of a post-Sandy initiative. And I don't want to steal the governor's thunder, but I know that there's a lot of concern on the part of the administration, not only with this funding, but also you're going to see some real marketing programs to get the word out that we're not shut down for business down here after Sandy, that we're still open for business. So the other piece was, I don't know if you want to mention that, we had a meeting with the Department of Human Services.
Yeah, I'll mention that when you're finished up here real quick. You know, I have to be honest, I've been in government now for 13 years. And, you know, Governor Christie, you know, he established this thing where we have like, I jokingly call him a handler. And it's one guy who deals with a number of mayors down here in South Jersey. But I never had somebody call me from Trenton before and say, well, look, we want to know what problems you have. You know, what are the exact issues? And we want you to bring a couple people and come up to Trenton and sit down with us and see what we can do to try and help you with these problems. So we kicked it around. And you know, now, I never had that before. I never saw this before. And I'm not, you know, I'm just saying that to me, it was kind of remarkable in the sense that they had an honest interest. When we went in there, it wasn't like an assembly line. He sat there and talked. He asked a lot of questions, Commissioner Martin, and he was really interested in what we were talking about. The flooding problems, the water allocation, which the MUA has been fighting to get, or beach erosion. And it was excellent. We took our new engineer with us, and we took some maps and showed him exactly what was going on. He had some good news for us, and we left that meeting pleasantly surprised. The other one that I wanted to do, and it was just a clarion call basically with the Commissioner Velez from Health and Human Services, was to make sure they were aware that South Jersey, not Lower Town, South Jersey is experiencing a jump in the opiate and heroin situation down here. And we rang that bell loud and clear. They see the same thing we are. You know, in case you don't read the paper, there were like 2 arrests, you know, yesterday or over the weekend, not in our town, but other towns. And the task force at the county is doing a great job. And we had another arrest inside Lower Township last week. We have a real fine police department, and they're cooperating totally with the county on this. And we see it. We're not going to sweep it away. We're going to do something about it. I've told you this. And in doing something about it, we've met with everybody that we possibly could meet. We met with the Commissioner of Human Services last week. Then it was followed up by a meeting with the prosecutor, followed up by a meeting with our schools. And we're just making sure everybody's aware of what we're seeing. The anecdotal level, or the anecdotal is, you know, it certainly is supported by the statistical data, which seems to tell me that there's an issue. Okay, so now our police department had, in conjunction, we send one person up to the county and we get 8 to 10 back that are working in Lower Township. And not only here, but they'll go to another town they follow, and the result of one of those investigations was an arrest that took place last week where they got somebody over on Utah. A couple of weeks before, it was East St. John's. So we are getting these people, and we are going to lock them up, and we're going to get them out of here, and we're going to do everything we can. There's an education component, there's a rehabilitation component. And we're looking at all the different avenues and making sure that we are on top of this. So that was part of it. In conjunction with it, the police department asked me to read out their Hear It, See It, Report It initiative, which should have been, I think is in the papers. And the police department's implementing a Hear It, See It, Report It initiative. And it says that if you hear or see suspicious activity in your neighborhood, call the police and report it. Sometimes citizens feel they are bothering the police or may feel that their information is not worthy of calling it. You know, if you want to, you know, there's numbers you can call here. You can call the police department, and they have of course there's the emergency, but there's an anonymous tip line, which is 886-1619, extension 156. 886-1619, extension 156. And that's anonymous. And you can call town hall here and just follow the menu and come to the mayor's phone or any of the council people if you have information. And I promise you, we'll follow up on this. I mean, there's a renewed sense that we are all in this, and there is a real push on the part of our police department, the prosecutor's office, and all of us. But we only, and I did this for 25 years, there's no way this police department succeeds, no way, unless it has the people to give them the information. And we have to act on the information you give us and get your problem solved in order for you to gain and to, you know, continue to have the confidence you do in our department and in our government, really. I mean, you know, we're going to fight this thing tooth and nail. And yet it's not low. I keep stressing this, and I'm going to say it every time, because I'm not going to wear this for the township. It's South Jersey. We just happen to see it, and we're screaming about it. So we're going to do something about it. And if we drive them out of here, yes. If we lock them up, even better. But it's just got to go. It's got to be that way. We're there. I mean, we took the concern all the way to Trenton. We've taken the concern to the prosecutor's office. We've taken the concern, had an excellent meeting with the school, and we have a renewed sense of cooperation with them. Okay, so that's where that's at. Other announcements, let me see. Saturday, March 23rd, Easter egg hunt, Bennett's Field, 10 a.m. I don't want to see you out there with a mask on, Jimmy, running around. You know, save some of those eggs for the kids. Okay, it's March 23rd, 10 o'clock. And then Thursday, April 25th, don't forget that one, it's the health fair. And that's over, that'll be right here at the rec center. Is it the rec center or in here? I'm not sure. Okay, now, I had a really difficult assignment the other day, and I have to tell you about that. I went to Maud Abrams for the Irish, what do you call those things now? Irish potato contest. And I got stuck having to eat a couple of plate loads of these things. It was so hard to judge. But the Irish potato, I want to thank the principal, Denise LeBlanc, and the third grade teacher that won it was Mr. David Burr, and his class had the final tally came up, and they had the best Irish potatoes of all the classes, and I felt like a beached whale after a while, but they were delicious, I have to tell you that. So thanks to them. Okay, I think that's it. Council, or we'll call to the public. Anybody who wishes to, I know it. Come on.
My name's Fred Long, Cold Spring. I have some comments and a suggestion about two bills in the state legislature. A 2753 and S 1923, which directly affect one of the largest revenue items in Lower Township's budgets, the energy tax receipts. In 1997, there was a law that set up what the state calls, quote, Energy Tax Receipts Property Tax Relief Fund, unquote, consisting of monies paid by energy companies and communication companies and people like that for the privilege of using municipal right-of-ways. Prior to 1997, these taxes were collected by the municipalities. In 1997, PL Law 1997, Chapter 167, the state took over the collection of these taxes beginning July 1st, 1997. The fund was initially set at $740 million. The above two bills would take back the collection of these items by the state and restore it directly to the municipalities, commencing with fiscal year 2014. The approximate value of that fund would be $1,140 million, plus a yearly inflation adjustment. Further, the New Jersey League of Municipalities has indicated that the state, quote, diverted funding from energy taxes to plug holes in the state budget and to fund state programs. Municipalities, whereby municipalities lost $331 million in combined energy tax and consolidated municipal property tax relief aid funding in fiscal years 2009, 10, and 11, which is while also being denied scheduled incremental increases in funding. The above two bills would require the state to restore that $331 million to the municipalities in the state. I would like to ask Council to consider passing a resolution supporting the passage of these two bills. To allay possible concerns that the state might divert funds from other state aid programs to municipalities to make up that $331 million, I would suggest that your resolution might include a proviso that no such diversion shall occur. I've read the bill, I've read the League of Municipalities material. I read their proposed draft resolution and a resolution that another municipality in the state has passed. And this needs your prompt attention since A 2753 has passed the committee in the state by a 7-to-1 vote and is now positioned for a vote on the assembly floor. Distribution of such a support resolution might include the governor, our state senator, our state representatives, each member of the State Assembly Housing and Local Government Committee, and the Senate Committee and Urban Affairs Committee, and the New Jersey League of Municipalities. So I offer this suggestion because it is an important topic.
It is. I wish there's a level, you know, at one point, we had, I think, about 1.895 million. I think it was almost 1.9 million. And we're down to about 1.5. Okay, now here's, I've had numerous conversations over the past year, and this is my problem. You addressed it a little bit. You talked about the fact that the state didn't take that. See, we were getting this money from the energy companies, you know, the electric companies, et cetera, and it had to do with power lines, things running through the town. So they had to pay a tax. You pay a tax on your energy bill, which then was funneled to the towns. The state took it over, and that was fine in the beginning, But then they started to dip into the fund, so you got less and less back. So we went from 1.9, say, to 1.5. Now there's a move afoot to restore that to the original level, which I love on one hand. That makes sense. Now here's my problem with it. The state didn't put that money in a coffee can behind the governor's office. That money is a drop of ink into a glass of milk. It's threaded all the way through everything we do in this state. Now try and get it out. Don't tell me that you're going to give me $400,000 back from my energy tax receipts, but in doing that, I'm going to lose $600,000 in school aid. Tell me that my people won't be hurt in any way, shape, or form, and I'm on board with this. I got off the phone this afternoon with John Moran from the League of Municipalities, and he and I have this standing joke, because every time I call him, he says, "No, Mike, I don't know where the money's going to come from." They support this. They do support this bill. And I've spoken with Bill Dressel, I've spoken with a lot of people, but my problem is you can't tell me where the money's coming from. And I'm wondering, you know, there's some towns, like we get 1.9. If you go to some of the towns in this county that have like half the people, they get like $6 million. You know, what are they going to get back? And what are we going to get back? Where's it coming from? And what will it cost our people? Okay? When you solve that last statement, when you tell me, you guarantee me that it's not going to impact somewhere else, it's squeezing a balloon, the money's got to come somewhere. Are you going to raise taxes somewhere else to pay that? I don't know. So, you know, this is the problem I've had. If you send a resolution that says they have to, I don't know how you do it. I just don't know how you go back to that level without cutting something in government. And what are you going to cut? You're going to cut the breakfast program? Over half my kids get subsidized food at the school. You know, so just make sure that whatever we're doing.
One thing to address that is that even if the municipalities got zero back on the $331 million that the state has taken away,
right?
Even if they got zero back on that, these two bills provide for the municipalities to collect, beginning in fiscal year 2014, all of the money that heretofore had gone to the state.
Correct.
So the money comes directly to Lower Township now. It doesn't go through that, or it would if these bills pass. It doesn't go through the state. There's also an incremental adjustment each year for the amount that we get. Now, looking forward from 2014, it would seem to me that that is a pretty big piece of money to look at continuing from 2014 on, even if we didn't get any of the 331 million back.
Well, if they start diverting it and we get it directly, then the state's going to lose the revenue that they are now getting. All I'm saying is that at some point in time, they have taken this money and put it into the general fund.
True.
Pulling it out of there without cutting programs is impossible. Tell me what you're going to cut. That's all I'm asking. If you're saying to me they're not going to cut any programs, okay, then they're going to raise that 331 in another way. What are they going to do to raise it? Tell me what you're going to do and how you're going to solve this problem. I mean, I didn't want the state to touch a nickel to begin with, and you could see where this was a slippery slope. Each year was a little more of a gobble, and now you're at a point where they can't touch it again. They just can't touch it anymore. Now, there are other people who call this a sneaky backdoor tax. Is all it is basically you're taxing energy, and you know, it's do away with it completely. I've heard that argument. I don't support that. And then use another form to raise the money that you're missing. You shouldn't be doing this. I don't know. Council, you can weigh in on this if you so desire.
I back your opinion on
I just want to know where it's coming from, and then I support it.
The problem here, the way it goes.
Nobody can tell you that.
I know.
Yeah.
That's what
Nobody
scares
can tell
me.
you that.
That's what scares me.
Just like nobody could tell you what cuts you were gonna make in your budget before you started the budget.
The problem-
Yeah, but what, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, the problem about how this works is that when they want an excuse to take money in taxes, they come up with a really good reason to take it. But then as soon as they get the power to take it for that reason, they forget the reason and just spend it the way they want to. It's the same thing with the tourism tax. They take all kinds of money out of this region on the tourism tax. Originally, it was promised they were gonna keep that money and put it into a fund to promote this region. That's what they said they were gonna do. But once it gets into the treasury coffers of Trenton, they're not bound to keep it in that compartment and use it for that purpose. They can do whatever they want to with it, and they do. So what I think you're trying to do is address that and say, no, if you're gonna sell us on a program and say this is the reason you're taking the money, let's stick with it and not change it. Isn't that right?
Well, the original law provided for that. It was a fund that was directed for municipalities. Notwithstanding that law, the state decided to do what we all know they did. These two bills are trying to correct that problem.
Right.
But
I think it's worth looking
I
at,
think-
because the league does want us to do this.
They do.
They think it's money that we'll
And I fight with
get here
them.
on a local level, and then we'll be the ones dealing with it.
Thank you.
As long as idealistically, they don't short sell that.
And I'll call the league again. I just need to have that assurance, and I'm all for it. They can't, I know, that's why I've stayed away from it. I've been playing with it for almost a year now. Yes, ma'am?
Hi, my name's Patty Sparks and I live in North Cape May. I have to just address this to Councilman Conrad. And I wouldn't address it except you brought it up. You were very kind to give St. Raymond a boost because of all the food that they contributed and everything. I just have to clarify something if I may.
You're going to tell me the actual name of the group.
The actual name of the group is the Parish of St. John Neumann. We handed out almost 1,500 bags.
Well done.
750 went to St. Raymond, 750 went to St. John of God. Those bags were divided among 4 food banks within the town. It's in Cape May County, all of them, one outside of, all of them within Cape May County, all but one was within the township. Okay, this is the 5th time that we've done it. We do twice a year, spring and fall, and this is our 5th endeavor. And we've handed out about 1,500 bags every time. So it is a joint effort of the parishioners of St. John Neumann, which is the Catholic community within all of Lower Township. So Lower Township community pulls together to feed our sheep.
I didn't mean, yes, I didn't.
Oh, no, I know you did not understand that, and I would not have brought it up, except I knew that you didn't know the full story, so that's why I'm telling
And
you.
I want to thank St. John's Parish because it was a beautiful thing to see. And
It is beautiful, isn't it?
People are in need and people are digging in and trying to help where they can.
Yes, it's quite impressive to go into the church and see the elderly and the children and enter the sacristy and bring the bags and place them on the altar as their offering to God for Him to feed His sheep. But thank you for the recognition.
I'm sorry, I should have caught that. I apologize.
No problem.
Good job.
We're not looking for recognition. I just wanted to clarify it for you, Mr. Conrad.
All right.
Councilman, thank you.
Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, Council members. Fred Swope, 19 Redwood. I think you remember me from some of the
I
storms.
do.
Yeah. All right, well, we have more storm problems. And a couple of things. We lost the stairs from the street to the beach, and there's about a 10-foot drop now. So in the view of safety, there's a barricade leaning up against some snow fence, and that's the only thing that stops kids or anybody from going there. And in the season, people kind of know, but the season's getting ready to change with Easter coming, and the kids come down for holiday, and they're going to zoom right down that path and go right off the boardwalk deck. So that's one issue, safety. Of course, the other issue is, you need stairs for access to the beach. So, at this time, I would just respectfully request that the stairs get done before you're not allowed to work on the beach because of the crabs or the birds or something, And that's coming up pretty soon, I think.
What I'll tell you is we'll look at it. I'm not sure whose responsibility it is, and I have to take a look at that, Fred, to be honest about it.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I mean,
I'll talk with the manager and
Yeah.
talk with Gary.
Right, the wall and the stairs were donated to the township.
What's that? What's the end of that street there? Which one's?
It's Redwood.
Redwood.
Yeah.
How could I forget that?
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Anybody else wish to address council? Yes, sir.
Joe Will, Fishing Creek. Since you're giving props to different names, you had mentioned something that was going to happen behind here at the rec center.
I know Paul will.
Well, I wish you would acknowledge it because I brought it up to you in the past.
You
brought it up to Councilman Conrad, and I brought it up to Glenn. And you all know about it. And if it wasn't for the gentleman that started recreation in here, your kids wouldn't have a place, your kids wouldn't have a place, and your kids wouldn't have a place. In 1962, it was all started by him. And Jack Sparks can attest to that. If you ever want to know any history about Paul Hartwell, ask him. He's an open book. But when are you going to acknowledge it? Because I, for one, sit back there and I get steamed, and I'm steamed right now. I wish you would acknowledge it.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else wish to address council? Close the public portion.
Resolution number 2013-100. It's a resolution providing for a meeting not open to the public in accordance with the provisions of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act and to discuss litigation.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Neville?
Yes.
Councilmember Douglas? Deputy Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Beck?
Yes.
Curious.